Are you experiencing hunger?
Well, I think we just did.
Ah, yes, we watched Hunger, the 1973. Okay, so we just watched Hunger, the 1973 animated film from a Mr. Peter Folds. Braden, we've watched Hunger before.
Definitely. Many a time.
We've felt hunger before.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Many a time.
Walk me through. What happens in this very short film?
Well, this is a very stylish animated short film from the 1970s. It follows this guy. I don't think, is he given a name or anything?
There's no name, there's no dialogue.
Right.
It's just a guy, generic guy works in an office.
It's just music and visuals. I don't even think there's sound effects, real, like maybe a few, but he's going about his day, he's going through his life, and he gets a bit hungry. He starts eating more, he starts getting a bit more desires, a bit more indulgent, and he gets kind of fatter and fatter.
Yeah.
That's the gist of the film.
Yeah, the movie is guy gets fat. I mean, there's a little more to it beneath the surface level. So the standout in this short film is obviously the visuals.
Yeah.
I remember when we first watched this, I had never seen anything that looked like this before. Like, it's very simple line drawings, but they use a technique, and this is actually one of the first short films, or first films ever to use this technique. It's called tweening.
Okay.
So basically what it is, you take the keyframes from one photo of animation and then position it to the next, but the program puts in between as the lines move and sort of form into these new shapes and stuff.
Yeah, you see that effect a lot in the short film.
Yeah, that's pretty much all that it is.
Yeah, right, yeah. But yeah, this was, and they did that with computers, and then that's weird because this is a 70s short film.
Yes.
You know, this is one of the first, I think this is the first short film to win an Oscar using, like, an animated short film to win an Oscar that's computer animated.
It starts with this guy, he's sitting in his office, and you can tell he's a busybody. He's taking phone calls, and, you know, he has to grow two heads to take two phone calls. And but by the time 5 o'clock comes around, it's time for him to leave the office and go grab a snack.
And he just keeps getting more and more indulgent. And I like the way that that's shown, like, kind of through the visuals in a way. Like, the man is constantly becoming different things, you know? He's multitasking, he becomes two heads. When he has to go somewhere, he becomes a car, you know?
Yes.
It's kind of this, you are what you eat sort of metaphor in a way, you know? Like, he's constantly becoming what he's doing. And as he becomes more indulgent, he becomes a bit more fat, a bit more ugly, just like his behaviors. And his behaviors become a lot more ugly. You know, it becomes a lot more grotesque the more he eats. And as he becomes more indulgent with food, he also becomes indulgent with, like, sex. There's a weird, like, sort of sexual angle here, too.
Yes, there's this really good visual that is just very funny also, where he's, you know, romanticizing about this waitress that's bringing him all the food, and then it looks like they start dating, and then there's even a part where you see, like, a nude woman, and he visualizes her as, like, a scoop of ice cream on a cone, which is funny because, you know, it's just a silly visual, but it kind of goes to show how he starts viewing the world through this lens of food that he's bringing in. And then eventually, I think it's even sort of insinuated that the woman leaves him and he's by himself, and then when he's frustrated, he goes back to eating. And it's just this vicious cycle of just indulgence and greed and lust.
Yeah, and it conveys it perfectly with just music and visuals. He just gets bigger and bigger and nastier. And it's got a nice little tune in the background the entire time.
It never feels jarring. The music always kind of matched the vibe of what was going on.
Right. I would say that, like, it kind of starts off kind of whimsical and, like, fun even, and that's how you kind of feel at the beginning of the short film. He's going through his life and he's transforming into all these different things, and it's this very, like, funny, light short film. And then towards the end, you get these, like, really, like, striking sort of beats in there as he becomes more grotesque.
The ending is, I mean, pretty dark. The man is taking medication because of the amount of food that he's eaten and just how he's destroyed his own body. And it kind of shows this part where he kind of falls through the bed and, like, he lands and he's just surrounded by all these starving children.
Yeah, with, like, bloodshot eyes, or not bloodshot, but they're like, they've got little cracks in their eyes. They look terrifying.
Yeah, they're very gaunt, very skinny. And then they see this huge whale of a man.
Yeah.
And they take out their hunger on him, and all of these children begin to eat this big fat man.
Right. So I guess the moral of the story, don't be indulgent, you know. There's always someone out there who needs it more than you. Live your means, you know. Live by your means.
Straightforward premise, straightforward short film, easy to watch. It's on YouTube. And if for nothing else, just watch the visuals, because again...
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
Really.
Like, obviously this method has been invented long ago, but I haven't really seen anything really implement this since.
Yeah. That's one of the things I wanted to mention is, like, when we first watched this, we were mind blown, you know? And this is 2022, you know? We watched this probably like 2020, sometime around there.
Well, Braden, this is actually 2023, but we did watch this movie. We did watch this movie probably back in like 2020, 2021.
We watched it in the 2000s, you know,
yes.
in the 2010 and in the 2020s, and it was still mind blowing to us. So I can't even imagine what this was like in like the 70s to see this. You know, it's mind blowing back then. It's mind blowing now. There's really nothing like it in terms of animation. So you kind of just have to watch it. This is a 5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, simple 5 out of 5. Easy premise, great visuals, great story, short, to the point. And pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, nothing really to hate about it. Check it out.
Yeah. All right, Braden, why don't we go grab a bite after we bid the video adieu?
I eat because I'm unhappy. And I'm unhappy because I eat. It's a vicious cycle. Oh, God. Sorry, I farted.
The whole book fell out when it fell, by the way.
Oh, nice.